Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a pretty provocative idea from author Guy Lakeman. He argues that the internet we all use every day isn't just changing, it's basically in a coma. In this explainer, we're going to break down his claim that our online world is no longer what it seems.
So right off the bat, the author, Guy Lakeman, kicks things off with this statement. It's a direct shot at the very systems he's about to critique. He's making it crystal clear that his perspective, he claims, isn't filtered by advertisers and is put together with his own AI. It really sets a confrontational tone from the get-go.
And this all leads to the huge central question of his work. He's asking us to seriously consider a pretty unsettling idea. What if that vibrant, human-filled internet we think we know is actually just an illusion?
The author frames this almost like a medical issue. So let's start there, with his diagnosis. What exactly does he believe is wrong with the modern web?
Okay, so his diagnosis really hinges on this one core concept, the dead internet theory. Basically, the theory goes like this. Authentic human-to-human interaction is getting totally drowned out. It's being replaced by a sea of bots and AI-generated content that's not there for connection, but for manipulation.
To back this up, he points to research from way back in 2016 that found over half of all web traffic was already driven by bots. And his point is, think about the absolute explosion of generative AI since then. He argues that number has probably skyrocketed, pushing real human interaction into a tiny minority.
Now, the author doesn't see this as something that happened overnight. He lays out this timeline to show it's been more of a slow burn. He points to these early warnings about content death back in 2016, a leaked memo from Facebook in 2019 admitting its platforms aren't neutral, and of course, more recent moves by companies like Reddit and Meta that he sees as proof of a system that's just moving further and further away from us, from authentic human interaction.
And he does not mince words when it comes to the stakes. He uses this quote to really hammer home how severe he believes the situation is, framing it as AI-powered gaslighting of the entire world population. So in his view, this isn't just about business. It's a massive form of manipulation.
So, if the diagnosis is an internet coma, what does the author say is the cause? This next part explores the force he claims is behind all the manipulation. The author's whole argument really boils down to this. He claims the entire system is perverted, his word, by advertiser money. According to him, the goal of these AIs isn't to help you or connect you with others, it's to deliver you to the sponsors. And he gets pretty technical about how he thinks this infection happens. The argument laid out here is that money from advertisers gets right into the AI's core logic. He claims that as the AI learns, the system gets biased to favor sponsors. And the end result? The final response you get from the LLM becomes what he calls an agentic output. Basically, a message that serves the advertiser, not you. And to capture his, let's say, frustration with all this, he uses some really unique phrases. He calls the whole situation the shrimp Jesus of a fatal system. It's a bizarre, almost absurd image that's meant to show how he thinks the system has just become a corrupted parody of what it was supposed to be. Now, according to the author, this manipulation isn't just happening randomly. He argues it's carried out through two very specific and probably very familiar mechanics on these platforms. First up, you've got the filter bubble. As it says here, this is when platforms learn what you like and just keep feeding it to you to keep you scrolling. But his point isn't just about showing you more cat videos. It's about building a personalized reality that's been perfectly optimized to keep your eyes on the screen for advertisers. And that filter bubble, in turn, creates the second part of this mechanic, the echo chamber. By surrounding you with beliefs that just reinforce your own, all the opposing views get filtered out. The consequence of this, according to the author, isn't just confirming your own biases. It's actively creating real-world polarization. And this chart really visualizes what he sees as the business model behind it all. He's arguing that this isn't some unfortunate side effect. In his view, platforms figured out that inflammatory content, even hate and misinformation, drives up engagement. That engagement maximizes profits, and the result of that is a more polarized society, not by accident, but by design. Okay, so this brings us to the final section. The prescription.
After diagnosing a comatose internet, what on earth does the author propose as the cure?
The foundation of his whole prescription is a shift in how we think. As this quote shows, he's arguing we have to move away from just believing what we see and start demanding evidence, real, repeatable, observable evidence. For him, trust has to be earned.
But that brings up a pretty obvious question, right? In a world of what he calls filtered garbage and biased bots, where are we supposed to find reliable knowledge? Well, he offers a three-step answer.
So his answer is really a call for a kind of intellectual self-reliance. First, he says to build your own chatbot, to take back control of your information feed. Second, be deeply skeptical of any unknown source. And third, put your trust in people with actual peer-reviewed qualifications on a subject, not just whoever is popular.
And the source material leaves us with this one last, really provocative thought. It's like a warning label for the internet. What if every single AI response had to list its financial backers? Who would we find is really funding the information we consume every single day? It's a final huge question about transparency and what a truly honest internet might even look like.